Hello, I'm Fred Ingle, and this is my case study, Training for Differences, for HRD 8470 at Clemson University. My case involves a hypothetical university that offers a class in difficult conversations as a college course, face-to-face. The university administration has decided that the course needs to be modified in view of the current social justice environment. They also would like to move the course to an online environment. To do this, the Office of Student Affairs has undertaken this project. The resources that we'll use in this study is the Addy model of training development, Bennett's stages of diversity and intercultural sensitivity, the Intercultural Development Inventory, or IDI, which is based on Bennett's stages and measures intercultural competence. The Addy model includes the following steps: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. In the analysis step, the primary task is to assess the need and provide the justification for the training. In the design step, the task is to design the instruction using information from the analysis step and subject matter information and information about the target audience. In the development step, it includes the final training assets that are to be delivered to the end user. In implementation, the step includes delivering the training assets to the target audience, and in evaluation, the step involves measuring the effectiveness of the training. Bennett stages of diversity and intercultural sensitivity. There's denial, defense, minimization, acceptance, adaptation, and integration. In denial, one does not acknowledge that cultural differences exist at all. In defense, one defends one's own culture because one believes that if they don't, they lose otherwise. In minimization, one minimizes the cultural differences and focuses on what makes one like others. In acceptance, one becomes aware of diverse cultural perceptions. In adaptation, one adapts reasoning and actions to one's new worldview of cultural differences. And finally, in integration, one can have and allow different cultural experiences to move in and out of their worldview. In other words, they start integrating with other cultures. The Intercultural Development Inventory, or IDI. The IDI is a 50-item inventory with 10 additional demographic questions to identify the demographics of the taker of the instrument. The 50 items are on a 7-point Likert scale. There's a statement, and the test taker then identifies how they view that statement as a strongly agree to strongly disagree. The reliability and validity were established in large samples of the general population and college students. These are the items that are assessed. Denial, defense is 13 items. An example of a statement used for the participant to evaluate on the Likert scale is it is appropriate that people do not care what happens outside their country or with other cultural groups. In reversal, there's 9 items, and a sample statement is people of our culture are less tolerant than people of other cultures. Minimization, there's 9 items. A sample statement is our common humanity deserves more attention than cultural differences. In acceptance, adaptation, there's 14 items. I evaluate situations in my culture based on my knowledge and experience of other cultures is a sample statement. In encapsulated marginality, there are 5 items. I do not feel I'm a member of any or combination of cultures is a sample statement. The Addy analysis phase. We will form a cross-cultural focus group from the university and the larger community to evaluate the current course content and to remove any irrelevant materials. This focus group will consist of persons from different racial, ethnic, gender, sexual orientation, physical impairment levels, and national origin backgrounds. In other words, we want a wide swath of cultures, as wide as we can get, from the university and the community to be in this focus group. Also, in the analysis phase, we're going to assess the remaining content and identify deficits in consideration of the current social justice movements. Subject matter experts, or SMEs, from East Ridge University and other experts identified in the discipline will be invited to form an SME group. Recommendations from the focus group will be given to the SME group. Potential participants for the new course will be asked to take the IDI, and we'd like to have a sample of greater than 100. The SME group in the design phase will provide content that will be combined with the remnant content from the course. The scores from the potential participants on the IDI will be assessed to discern areas that need to be addressed. The course materials will then be designed using Bennett's stages of diversity and intercultural sensitivity as a platform for lesson plans and for the course modules. In the development stage, there will be 6 modules on the 6 stages of diversity and intercultural sensitivity, including lesson plans. There will actually be 7 classes, but 6 of them will be focus on the stages of the diversity and intercultural sensitivity. The modules will be presented over a 6-week period in an online class format using Zoom or some other appropriate online platform. The class size will be 30 participants, and we'll consider diversity when we assimilate class sections to have as wide a representation of diversity in each class as we can. The 30 participants will be divided into 5 groups of 5, and there will be 6 groups per class, and every 2 weeks the participants will rotate into a new group so that every person in the class is a participant with every other person in the class in groups. Also in the development stage, as I mentioned, it will be 7 weeks. Each session will be, the synchronous sessions will be 90 minutes, covering the 6 modules in 1 week of wrap up at the end. There will be adult class assignments that will be given each week. And these will be group assignments, and it'll cover the modules presented each week in Bennett's stages of diversity and intercultural sensitivity. The University Office of Instructional Technology will assess and modify the content of the proposed course, including graphics and video materials, so that the presentation is optimal for online presentation. The implementation of the plan will choose 3 facilitators to lead the course. The facilitators will be selected from diverse cultures. Facilitators will serve 2 synchronous classes, and all 3 will be present at the final class at the end of the 7-week period. The course will be presented as described in the development stage, including 90 minutes of synchronous online presentation and group assignments to be discussed and completed outside of class and then discussed again at the next synchronous meeting. In the evaluation phase of the project, we'll use Kirkpatrick's model of learning, which includes reaction, learning, behavior, and results. In the reaction phase, we'll measure it by participant survey to evaluate participant satisfaction and perception of the efficacy of the course. Learning will be evaluated by pre-test and post-test on the IDI of the participants. Behavior will be evaluated by participants' self-assessment inventory to be completed 6 months after the course is concluded. And finally, results will be measured by asking participants to complete another survey at the end of a year after the course, simply to assess did they think the class was worth the time. I've included a couple slides here at the end that I thought might be appropriate. The first is diversity as a color palette of humans. And next, it takes different colors to make a beautiful picture. I think that's what, in the difficult conversations, that's the goal, to realize that we're more alike than we are different. I included an appendix, which is samples of out-of-class activities for the 6 modules, which are the Bennett stages. These are the sources I used for my presentation, and I thank you for your attention.